Hello dear traders and welcome at this new Bitcoin technical, order flow, macro and on-chain analysis video. Since my latest video, there was plenty of volatility in Bitcoin markets and in general markets. You can see we are clearly in medium time frame range. Plenty of trade setups taken. When I open my trade setups folder, you will see there is very high activity in our trading group. And we've had multiple big day trades, which some of them become like swing in returns. So I will go over some of my trading today, but I made the bullet points for myself because I have so many topics to talk about today, and I will try to make your life easier. I will explain you why market is pretty weak, what are the dangers for crypto and the global equities, and when we can actually see some relief. Yes, so I'll be giving you some useful data, what to watch for. And then we will go over some of the topics I was posting into the group. I will show you Friday trading. We were actually capturing the reversal right here. Because we are expecting the week will be filled. So the trading here, how you should be positioned with the order flow. I will then show you a bit of Monday trading and then today's trading as well, just one trade because today I took only one trade. And then we will go over what's next for Bitcoin from technical analysis and order flow. I estimate the video will have like 80 minutes. Yes, because these topics needs time. It's all you need pretty much, because all I do every single day, I'm digesting informations from across the world and I'm trading. So that's the main jobs I do. Okay, so let's go. Let's start. Why is market weak? This is really good topic. So we will start with the options. For the options, I'm using Deribit and I'm also using the Ember data. In the near future, I plan to release course for our traders for options, so they will soon understand how they can use this in their benefit. But what I can tell you right now, one of the main reasons Bitcoin is pretty weak, when we go to 31st of October on Deribit, we are now seeing there is 14 billion, this is the second highest option expiry for this year. And this is putting lid on the market. By the way, it's pretty much a mirror image of previous months. When the month was ending last time, there was even larger option and it was also holding Bitcoin back. You have the max pain point at 114k, which means below this point, most of the market participants, I would say over 85%, will not make profit on options which were calling to the upside. That's why they are called calls. And people will not make as much profit because they will just be their options will be expiring worthless or just not in profit. So this is one of the first reasons Bitcoin is acting weak. Make sure to watch 31st of October, a new month start, because after the option expiry ends, we might see some relief rally out of the option market because we will see some repositioning out of the inventories for the option traders who are holding Bitcoin. So watch that date. Yes, and then we have second reason when we go to the Ember data. This is one of the useful metrics you can watch. And here we are seeing how is the fear or greed in the market. If you are heavily below 5, it means market is very scared, is taking hedging options to the downside. Yeah, it's protecting itself because it's not expecting moves to the upside. And we are seeing like this is you can see on Friday when we had the big crash, option market was the hedging post that, so in like Sunday. You can see another fear day was Friday, October 17th, yes. Another big move down. But even now, because we have lots of news about tariffs, we are seeing still lots of fear in the market. Like this is Wednesday, and like good portion of the Wednesday there was like during Asia heavy hedging on Bitcoin. This is now at -10. Like historically, when this the 7-day constant skew maturity is at below 10, this is a big fear, and it often presents good opportunity to buy Bitcoin. When I go to 1-day time frame, you will see those, that history. Let's see how long it takes to load. Okay, it's pretty decent. So this is for the past year, and you can see each time we were closing, actually we were trading below 5. Market already found stability and it was bouncing. Like the most extreme levels we were getting during tariffs in April, yeah. So we were around -10. So you see how big fear right now is in the market. It's not even shown like here, but when you see, because it's just 1-day time frame, but we are around 10, yeah. So there is a huge fear, and again, option people, many entities in the world are hedging and protecting themselves with these options to the downside. So fear is at a maximum. And if when the fear is at maximum and we are in bull market, you should be looking to buy, yeah. But if the fear is persistent, you are seeing increasing in volatility, which I'll be showing you just in a moment, then the fear can become like a really ugly, and you can see pretty nasty price action and ugly on a continuation. So yeah, option market is in fear, and again, after this expires, we might see some relief on Bitcoin, same as last time, because this is just huge. These people, you know, they don't want to let people make easy money on option markets. They will just suppress the price. That's why I said in the group, we might actually stay below 114,000 or just hover around 115k until that end of the date, yeah. But this can change with the news, so that's going to be the next topic. Tariff wars is very simple. With tariff wars, we were seeing some de-escalation in the marketplace when Trump was saying he is not going to harm China, he will make deals. So we've seen that as an additional confluence for our longs. But now, past few days, we are seeing another escalation from US into against the China, and markets are just going up and down because of it. So you are trading a similar environment as in April. If this environment is not for you, just be very patient, wait at the best reward ratio areas. If you are in the group, you know my guidance. I'm always telling you when I'm looking for trades. And just be patient, because these are like kangaroo markets, yeah. Every single day we can have new news event. But the main theme of the market still right now is not even US shutdown, is still tariffs, yeah. If we see major de-escalation and deal in China, with China, I think then we will see the biggest rally in equities and also in crypto. But with this fear, you just range, yeah. You see even the post crash, we are still in medium time frame range, and we are ranging a lot in the local range. This is the result. Markets are ranging when there is uncertainty. When you have certainty, people will start loading money into the equities and crypto. It's actually victory when you are ranging during uncertainty, because many times you just bleed down. Okay, so as we've seen here, we were almost feeling the wick. This was also on the back of some bad news events. Like even yesterday, market was pushing, and again we've had the bad news and we crashed. So it is what it is. I actually love such trading because it's making very easy exposure for me, because when I see a very clean news reversal, I'm taking the trade. It's very easy trade. I'm getting like 1 to 3% super easy from the market. If I know like market is in fear and is heavily positioned for that outcome here, which was the last news event on tariffs. I will also make educational module in the group for news trading, because before the crypto trading, I was news trader. So I have really good knowledge. That's why I can nail all those trades with the news. So tariff war, until it's resolved, market very likely will be in fear. Going sideways, uncertainty, you just trade the range and don't overcomplicate. We also have what's the date? 22. So in like 8 or 9 days, we have the potential hard fork on Bitcoin. I was mentioning that on previous YouTube videos, so I will not go as much into detail, but again, it is also scaring some people, because in the past when we had hard forks, potential hard forks, is not confirmed of course, when we have that, market tends to be uncertain. But if we even get a hard fork and a few days after the market is functioning normal, like the blocks are getting going through the chains, then I think some money will return to Bitcoin anyway. Yes. And we still have the flash crash shadow. It means in the past, when we had similar crash as here, that's why I was showing our group fractal. Yes. This is the fractal, and this is the price action. I need to go to 1 hour time frame. This is the 1 hour time frame from December 2021, because what happened there is similar and is like mirror image of what happened on our Friday. Again, it was huge crash, absolute like huge wipeout on the leverage, and then you see what market was doing. Actually, Bitcoin was following this fractal pretty good, and it's detaching a bit. But you see, after you have a huge crash, yes, you tend to not just go for the WIG immediately. You start to see stability. Yeah? People are buying. Yes, they are trying to buy a cheap asset, and you now see lots of distributions. So you see Bitcoin. Only thing which was a bit different to 2021, Bitcoin did deeper pullback compared to there. But then we find stability, and you're buying here. I will be showing you how I was buying that with the Orderflow. Yes. So you see, we need lots of time to go, to pass like multiple days, weeks. So the fear dissipates. Some people got destroyed and they will never touch crypto again. So this is the result. You need time to pass. and it's gonna resolve. And if I go to 4-hour time frame, I can show you that fractal. So you see, you know what I'm talking about. So let's go to 2021. Here you are. Yes. The main danger of such big flash crash as we had on Friday is, you know, we've seen lots of ranging post the crash, but then it was the start of the bear market. I'm not sure. I cannot say if it's start of bear market or not. I will be showing you some more data, but in the past it actually started bear market. You see, back then I was trading here. It was not even clear we started bear market because we only you know, did pullback of the previous impulse. The market was ranging, but then the structure was changing. We've seen lots of bad news. So you need some bad news as well globally or in crypto to continue and actually start creating bear market. I'll be actually showing you based on on-chain very clean levels how to predict bear market. You will be amazed how on-chain, on-chain is super powerful. You will see. So the fractal we are watching right now. And yeah, if we get some tariffs negotiations going better, then we can actually follow this fractal and get the bounce, yeah, from the area, but we can even range longer. So that's that. We went over that, and also we have the halving take profit. This is very, very deep post, so I mean, just for our traders. You can pause the video and read it. I don't want to go over this because it's going to be another 10 minutes. I just want to tell you this, market participants are still watching what Bitcoin did based on halvings. This cycle we have is very different to previous cycles because we had institutional money entering into the system with a large options market as well. So you have now very, very different markets compared to others, but still, if you go and measure previous halving dates, like last halving dates, like post-halving price action, after 547 days, we actually peaked out and went for the bear market, right? Right now we are the same very similar place. We went 547 days since halving. Of course, since halving, we already played the fractal. Look at that. Yeah, many people expect 250k Bitcoin. Of course, I would eat my shoes if that happens actually in next 3 months. Some people are calling for that, but you know, post halving, your job was to look for longs and build the longs for the long term. You know, same thing as here, yeah, push, massive push. Now we did push, it was more choppy, we've had heavy distributions. You know what's the main simple reason why this is happening? Because Bitcoin is now 2 trillion asset class. It's not so easy to move. And remember, 50% of people and more bought Bitcoin below $1,000. So they will be constantly dumping on you even as we push to 140k, 150k. And we will have multi-day, multi-week and multi-month distributions. It's not going to be like this, very, very unlikely. This is now heavily institutionalized market. Plus BlackRock and other big entities are controlling this market as well. And they will be, you know, taking profits on the way to the upside and to the downside. So you see, this is now like many people were cautious at the highs, and they, based on the symmetry of previous halvings, they are taking some profits of the market. They don't need to completely close positions. Even I was public and I took another profits at the 126k on Bitcoin on spot, and I was rebuying back at 185k. So you see, I'm making money not only on leverage, but also I'm rotating in spot markets efficiently. Okay, so that's halving. So that's another additional reason why crypto is experiencing a larger pullback. Yeah, because some people are seeing this fractal, which was happening for the past few cycles. Okay. So these are the reasons we have weak markets. Again, few of these things will be resolved. Options we will resolve in few days at the end of the month. We will also resolve tariff wars eventually, because this is now global posturing on who is stronger, China or US. Before negotiations, hard fork will also resolve at the end of the month, and Friday flash crash will also resolve in few days or weeks. So you see, all these things will dissipate, people will forget about it, and if we truly have equities still in bull market, then we can still continue in crypto, right? Okay. So here is another post. This post was a warning our traders when we might feel the weak. This is based on volatility. I'm watching volatility index. It's a very useful tool to have in your trading view. It's here, bvol, yeah. When volatility is high, it can be part of the bull market, but it can also show you lots of fear in the market. You can see this is the Friday flash crash drop, huge index, 300% plus increase in the volatility, and this was like pure liquidation cascade. And like you always need to watch what happened in the previous events when we had such a 300% plus increase in the volatility index. Yes, and we can see fear like we are experiencing now has led to bottom every time so far this cycle. SVB, post-DTF announcement dumped, July 2024 dump, yen carry trade unwind tariff drama. Yes, each time look at these big spikes in the volatility, yes, in the history. They were bought. The fear in the bull market is getting bought because this is the biggest opportunity for you for trend continuation. Here, volatility, this is March, this is April, sorry, this is September, this is 2024. Oh yeah, this is earlier. And same thing again, these large spikes were bought. And when we go to a bit of negative events, however, if volatility continues to remain elevated as we sell off, that's only occurred in bear markets and very deep consolidation. May 2021 sell off, Luna collapse, 3AC collapse. Yes, that's fractal we watch. Yeah, and you see here again massive volatility spikes. I forgot to mark the December 2021 I'm watching as a fractal to current one, but you see that was another huge spike in the volatility, and again the volatility stayed pretty elevated. It was not returning back more to the baseline here again. So this is again, that's why it's absolutely crucial right now from this perspective what we do. When I turn off this, what you want to do just from price action, yeah, you definitely want to trade above this wick. And even if we take the wick, we want to do swing failure pattern out of the wick so you can create a larger range. If you start trading below the wick after such huge volatility increase and volume and everything, because someone was absorbing the candle, yeah, there was like 8 billions at least of volume in the candle aggregated in the world. We can see that exactly in TRDR, and passive market participants were placing limits of their filled positions. So it's very bad if you start trading below this because you will trap them. You will trap these people who were causing the upside, yeah? And they protected their entries again. So again, if you lose this low and if you lose this low, super bad, and you fail with swing failure pattern, we can go for much larger pullbacks. So that's the main worry here. You need to really manage your risk here. Yeah? If you entered with leverage or on spot markets, just be careful. Yeah, this is still, we are walking on thin ice. This is why this is shadow of the flash crash week. And again, when I return to volatility, this is pretty complex. So I just hope you get it. But again, if we return, and this is how I told our traders when we were 17th of October, the volatility was starting to increase, yes, as we were dropping into the wick. And I told our traders it's very likely we will start feeling the wick now, because again, in better reversals, you want to see volatility declining and market pushing to the upside. That's calming down the market and spot, and people are buying the dip. It was the opposite, so it was pretty likely we feel the wick, and then we planned supports in the wick, yes. So that was the whole idea. And now we can go to, yeah, this is really good topic. I hope it's gonna be serving you well for the next few weeks or months. How to recognize market distress and future bear market trigger points. This is now from onchain. Let me show you the power of the onchain. And again, I want to give credit also to the check onchain. He's doing a really good job mapping these things. And these are the very critical levels we will be watching moving forward. Yes, you can apply technical analysis to your trading and order flow, perfectly fine, but on-chain is additional confluence because it's showing us where is the majority people getting trapped or relieved in the spot markets without leverage. As ultimately, it's all about underlying asset. Yes, so spot markets and ETFs and Sailor and all these people who are holding the huge amounts of Bitcoin. So this is now this is absolutely critical what we need to do if you want to see the relief rally on Bitcoin. The short-term holder cost basis. This is one of the best indicators I use in direct trading for my swing trades, because it's showing you when people are, I have the bigger posts here. It's showing you when the latest capital, which was flooded into Bitcoin for the past few months and weeks, is getting underwater or is getting into profit. If they are in profit, they have less incentive to sell, yes, because it's not just pressure. But each time you went below the STH, yes, you are creating big pressure in the market. Same like in April here, yes. But let's return to that. And currently, so about STH, we can even watch it live. So you will watch it live in check on-chain charts, which are for free. It's amazing because most of the on-chain tools are paid, and this guy is sharing it for free. It's fantastic. So this is now short-term hodler basis from MVRV and SOPR indicators. They are combined, but this is just short-term basis in this line. And you can clearly see, for me, if you want to see Bitcoin returning to all-time highs and trading much better, you want to trade above this line. Currently is at 113k, as again you will alleviate pressure from spot holders. Now what is problematic in this when we lose this line? Same like in tariff drops, yes, in March and April, we've lost it very clearly here. And you see we even retested it, but then we started creating new like medium time frame range and rejecting from that point. And then there was more market distress, more sell-off. And it's actually, this is you can monitor fear in the market with this, yeah, because when you trade below, there is fear. You get those, like when we lost this line and I open the, spot inflows, ETF inflows or outflows. You can see past few days we've seen very heavy sell-off at ETFs. So they were also selling off because they were just they were not in profits, yes. And they were buying mainly above 115k. So of course there was pressure, but again moving below that line was only accelerating their fear and pain. So what Bitcoin needs to do? From higher time frames, we need to reclaim this region. 112 to 113k is region because some on-chain analysis metrics are showing it at 112k. And then you will see larger rally. And then you have another option, yeah, like we already were trading around it and we rejected, so we can actually create new medium time frame range below it, which is going to, like, some people will be absorbing all that fear and pain. And ultimately we will start coming back into the level, reclaiming it, same like here. The market actually made its support, if we see, like multiple times, and then we started pushing and resuming, even pushing to new all-time highs. So for me, this is absolutely crucial line to be trading about if I want to see my swings doing well and also expecting new all-time high. So watch that here. Here it's even more cleaner visually. I think in crypto quant you can define it like this, so it's gonna show you exactly where is the market distress. And look how we are actually flipping it into support a few times, yeah. So it's often really good area where you add when you are trending in the bull market. So 1, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, just very briefly, and then now we are trading below. Fantastic too. Now let's go further. So this is now another line of support you definitely watch and you don't want to lose. So when we lost STH in March, you see when we found stability, it was 200-day moving average. You know, I like the moving average only on daily and weekly, and only 200s. That's it, you know, that's it for me. Absolutely no overcomplication. And then you have MVRV mean at 100k. This was the regions. This was the line which held Bitcoin back in a tariff panic. So we will be watching that. It's currently very close to 100k, just above. 100k is also psychological. So I'm definitely watching in case it aligns with the technical analysis, which definitely should, and there will be good order flow. I'll be looking for another entries if we like come to that level. But now the problem is like where I see the true problem starting for Bitcoin, and this is going to be first big sign we might be entering into like very steep correction on like whole crypto, or just starting bear market. Yes, I don't want to be like very bearish, but again, 95k, if you lose that level, this is like bull's last stand. It will be explained and exposed. I will show you why here. So let's go. This is the supply distribution on Bitcoin, but this is going to be shown even better. So 62% of the all money invested ever in Bitcoin were pouring, like they were poured into Bitcoin. They were invested above 95,000. Look at the volumes here, yeah, huge, because the institutions arrived, and retail is just very small. It's like 30 times larger. We have institutional inflows than compared to retail. You know, Sailor was buying heavily. So many entities were buying here. So if you start going below 95k, everybody who was buying in that, and again, it's 62% of the ever invested in Bitcoin, will be trapped. So big pain point, and I think since that moment we might see even larger pullback to the downside into big, you know, potential and other lines of support, but it can be really ugly and nasty drop. And now finally, so where I think potentially we might see stability or start of bear market, like officially, yes, you still have the true market mean. This is average of cost basis for active investors. It was derived from Cointime economic study. It's only first bear market support. We still have two more. This is another line you can watch. This was not retested the whole bull market, I think, so we might find some buyers. But I would say if you want to see like true bear market and you want to buy Bitcoin cheaper, then you will be wishing for Bitcoin to move below 70k region. The reason is very simple. At 81k, we have ETF cost basis. So since January, 10th of January 2024, people are buying ETFs in UFs, and their cost basis is currently at 81,000. So this is like first line lost and is another pain point for the market. Strategy, which is holding over 600,000 Bitcoins, their hold line, their average cost basis is 75k, and they said they will not be liquidated even if Bitcoin hits 20,000, which is pleasant to hear. But there will be lots of FUD when you breach 75k, because they will just get into miners and there will be heavy selling on stocks, yes, for them. So yeah, this is another level. And at the top we have 2024 high time frame range at 75k. So you see all these three regions are giving you, like, if you start losing that, you will trap most of the institutions entering this cycle, 62% of the money invested, and then we can get actually big pullback on Bitcoin and crypto to 50k. But I already, if it's going to be happening, I will be mapping that support. So you see, you have very clear from onchain is giving you very clear regions where to watch for entries as an investor, and when people will be trapped on spot market and they will be panically selling. Okay, so that's the onchain. Now we can go to Friday trading. I need to monitor how is the time going. Okay, time is still really good. So Friday trading is here. So I'm just showing you a very small portion of post we do in the group, but this is like I don't want to say it's out of the context. So, but yeah, it can be, because you just have to monitor like every single post we do in the group, in the Bram and other traders, and you will understand like what's happening. By the way, we are trading that initial bounce. TRDR was very helpful, because when we started getting double bands, like in the past, we knew the range is very close at least, or like stability, and then potentially larger bounce. Because right now we were reaching very crazy thresholds on the spot market. We've seen ratio of longs to shorts 2-to-1. There were two more buy limits in the order books than shorting limits, and that's like spot wants to buy the dip, so that's why you have these wide bands. So again, Bitcoin was at 195k, but I was pretty sure I'm trying to now trade the longs. We've got the one really good bounce. This was the initial bounce we've got. I'm not going over that, but I just want to show you when we were trading the ultimate low. Right now, we've seen huge liquidations when Bitcoin was now creating the final low of the week, 103,470. Look at the delta, huge like candle, massive volume. This is really good sign when you are getting a relative volume spiking like this. Huge delta, so passive market participants are filling the orders. Look at the absorptions, they are huge absorptions. Even when you reclaim this candle, you are creating potential to get day trade bounce, okay? Bram is taking it, first we are taking it as a scalp, but then later on, as the market was developing, I was keeping it as a day trade. And that's often happens when you take trade first as a scalp, and then it becomes day trade, and then it becomes swing. So you need to be like aware how to trade on all aspects of the market. So I'm also taking it as a quick scalp on EPA. And later on I will be showing you how it become better. I was even adding to the position. I took pretty large take profit one for 60%. Is very crucial in such pullbacks, and then you can increase your position as the market is stabilizing. But you earn money for stop loss, you earn guaranteed money, so you cannot lose the trade. Is often a good idea. We also were entering my trade area. It was traded once, but I still kept it on a chart because I consider this, even as we are feeling the wick, we can still stabilize in the in the wick, because when you go to AMT on medium time frame, because this is now medium time frame move, we still have lots of support here. We have the 2-month VAL, so because market is rotating this range very clearly, and you have the 3-month VAH from previous range. So overall, this is the best reward ratio area you can get from market, because when you lose this zone, you go for much deeper pullback, so and you will feel the weak low, then you can do swing failure pattern. But we are definitely looking for entries here as well. And then shorts started taking profit. Longs are looking for some decent reward ratio trades. That's what you are seeing. Now we are pushing out of the low. You see how market is still doing structure to the downside. That's why we took the take profit one on the initial push. Now we are seeing a new passive market participants adding new walls. These were spoof, so these are not real, but these were real walls. They were staying there. These people are now protecting with walls the low. That's what you want to see. Like, this didn't happen here. There was a bit of protection, but these people are now with conviction in the market, protecting the low. That's what I want to see. Bram is now giving symmetry, target to the upside, very similar like here. So there's like minimum target out of such zone. We now are getting equities pushing to the upside. I just need to read my post because I want to show you. I think I was adding twice. Yes, here was the first adding. So you see equities also are pushing to the upside. Maybe some news event was positive on tariffs or whatever, but equities were needed because the pullback on Bitcoin was correlated with the global equities. Yes, we push, Bitcoin also push. So I want to see equities cooperating for my trade. Now I added, so you see I had 60% take profit, now I added 20%. It actually raised my entry from here to somewhere here, but it's okay. My stop loss is wider, but I have larger exposure to the upside. So now I'm on 60%. That's good. We are seeing shorts are getting wrecked. I'm telling traders, nice to see worldwide panic, best time to buy. Now we are seeing battle for daily VWAP. You need to watch market live as well because you can read all these comments, but yes, you can even stop the video. Let's go further. A bit of pullback there. All we want to see during cash open is cash supporting futures move to buying the dip. Then we can recover to 110k at least. This actually took few days, but we did so. So immediately, even if you are pushing when you are taking positions here, you are trying to prepare your future expectations, what price might do, and we did so. Yes, so you don't want to, harm yourself taking too much profit early. Only the take profit one is sometimes pretty large, but that's it. Zero marriage to biases here. While most of the world is paralyzed in fear, you get potential tariff-induced drop in market when that risk scenario odds go lower. Yeah, this was actually tariffs. There was some news the tariffs will be negated, so you could actually make money not only on Bitcoin but also on equities or other assets. Yes, but we trade Bitcoin because From Orderflow, this is now Exocharts. We are seeing a very crucial thing. So these were huge shorts here when I zoom in. Huge volume and also 155 million negative delta. So what we want to see now from market, and this is also, some people don't even like enter. Some people don't enter right at loss because it can be risky for them. Only good scalpers can do, and many of our traders. But what we see now on the pullback, we definitely want to see this Orderflow, these trapped shorts potentially to be acting as a support, and we did so. We actually got pullback, then started pushing. We stabilized in this region, and then we continue higher. So many people were using this Orderflow support as a like first entry. Yeah, they were for continuation. And these trapped shorts, they will need to close in loss and they will need to buy. So their pain will become a future fuel for the market. Yes, this we've seen this often. It's like this is like signature move for the market. Let's see further development. And ultimately, we know what to do. Yeah, so we were getting position. I was adding one more time to this trade, so I'm also almost on the full size. After few months we've seen the blue bands. Do you know when we last time see the blue bands? Let me show you in TRDR. And this is why this template is like final boss in the room. 1 hour time frame. The last time we've seen blue bands, oh, actually it was the July, so we've seen the, oh, this is maybe from other exchange, but I mean, the last time we've seen such good ratios were when we had the April and March tariff lows. Yes, here and here. So this was the proper last time, and then we've seen them here, but this was bad data from exchanges, so this is, you can ignore, but from that moment we've seen only this is like a few months after we've seen the blue bands. You know, they have win rate of 85% since 2024. That's how powerful they are in these ratios. So it was easy, very strong confluence. We will see at least range and then potentially bounce into the upside. So again, it was super easy for us to long. Then I was also buying on the spot market because 150k I somewhere mentioned. I'm buying some Ethereum and Bitcoin, so it was like double profit for me. Crypto Twitter was heavily bearish at the lows. Everybody calling for bear market. All you need to see, we are not contrarians. We are trading with the Orderflow, okay? And Orderflow, and this is showing you the smart entities who are controlling this market. They are the final boss in the room. They will decide if they want to eat Crypto Twitter on lunch, who is getting super bearish on Bitcoin, yeah? And they did so with their limit orders, hundreds of millions, stabilize the price. As we are pushing now, Bitcoin and every single asset in the world wants to be efficient, and you are aiming to fill the inefficiency. This was another goal, and Bitcoin did so, from 107 up to 108k. This was the time when you make most profit and fastest way on your trade, because it's gonna be moving very swiftly over low volume nodes and inefficiency. Bitcoin is actually filling 80% or 90% or plus of its inefficiencies, so beautiful. Now, this was Friday, so I'll show you how you are trading it live with the guidance. Monday trading, let me show you trade areas. By the way, you see I was preparing, so we pushed into the flash crash here, and somewhere here on Monday I was live streaming in our group my charting for Bitcoin, because this drop destroyed my charts, many levels, and I prepared 2 trade areas for myself and for the traders where we will be looking for new longs. The first trade area got 1-2 touch, so this was already a very good winning area, yes, because we had so much interesting levels here, and also liquidity and demand. Winning trade area, and then we've had the like very wide area. Why it's very wide? Because the wick is also very wide and we don't have many levels. We actually had some wick high volume nodes in it. We've had the spot market was not bottoming here at 102k. Some exchanges had lows at 103, 105, 107. So this is very wide area. And this is the area where I want to see Bitcoin finding stability and bounce. So another trade area and another winning. This is how you plan, by the way. And then you see the result. Look at that. Yeah, this was beautiful push. So the trade areas were winners. Now this is showing you areas of interest for the this was from Monday. Now I'm showing you Monday. I'm preparing on Monday our traders. Very good goals for the market can be to fix week highs. Yes, this is actually where we reversed yesterday. And then in the future, 115,800 can be an initial target for Bitcoin, and where we can fix the highs again. And let me show you now chart. Here, zooming out, we need to go to 50-minute time frame. Here we are. This is where we reversed, and you've got the swing failure pattern out of these multiple week highs, yes, which were bad structure. And of course, when we go to the order book tool, you can clearly see there was like thousands of Bitcoins on the sell side, so someone was feeling very likely big short, so this was helpful. Then we've got the news, and then we dive to the downside. In my trades, let me show you all my trades, just like this. You see I'm trying to be in the market only from the best reward ratio areas. These are like best day trades, even to the upside, pump to the upside on Tuesday. I'm not even covering it today, video the Tuesday, but we actually were going long here on the week on this week exactly, because usually yeah, we had this week lows which were fixed today, but I captured move to the upside. This was fully live trading in a group. So you see the trades, beautiful. I was missing short here because I was eating steak, so I said it's very expensive steak for me when I was missing the reversal thanks to news, the tariff escalation, another one. Yeah, that's why market gave up whole pump. Let's see what else we've got from my older posts. And by the way, as market was ranging here, 50-minute time frame, when we were doing this range here, market was creating bullish CVD. So when you are in long, you want to have bullish CVD on your side because it's gonna be acting as additional confluence for your trade. We always watch aggregated CVD, so I don't care on single exchanges. I'm watching whole world on perpetuals and on CVD, on perpetuals and on spot. So you see, market is creating, going sideways or doing higher lows, but the CVD is making lower lows continuously. So this is showing you some big entities absorbing all the sellers and is potentially giving us push. And then we've had more like intraday CVD on Monday. Again, lower lows on CVD, higher highs on price. This is giving you intraday bull CVD. So this push to the upside was absolutely not a surprise for us above 110k. And since I was trading this low, I already was trying to call for 110k, if you remember. I was just showing you. Same thing was happening on perpetuals. People were shorting. You see delta still at the lows, but we still trend to the upside. And this leverage was also trapped. Very cool. Blue bands playing out well. Blue bands I already explained in the video. Yeah? The power of the statistics. TRDR is one of the key statistical tools. And today, Wednesday trading, I only took one trade, so I'll be just scrolling down and showing you what we did today. Sometimes you don't have 2, 3, 5 trades, you just have one trade because market is just so boring or lazy, yes. So pretty much, as we were dropping out of impulse, we are feeling inefficiencies. We've recognized we have 1, 2, 3, many lows close together. Now when I go to our liquidity tool, you will cleanly see the build up. Yes, look at the red line. Sorry, red lines here. All these weak lows are creating very juicy liquidity node. That's why you see such a forced selling to the downside. Yes, everybody getting stopped out or liquidated. Once you cleared all of it, you are getting back into the range. I was longing here live, so let me show you that. Brem is reporting the liquidity is now run. Almost. Let me check. Let me show you my entry. Again, it's starting as a scalp. Finally, market is fixing all the weak lows. Textbook EPA reversal. EPA reversals are one of the best reversals in the market. I had alert as market was boring and slow. 106, 800s. I'm actually reporting so fast, you know, people can still enter with me. With Orderflow, this was very easy setup. You've had the, like, this is very rare to get such a finished auctions. Look at the zeros on the right. Yeah, this is showing you there was no intent, like there was very little buying on the spot market. This move was so fast. It's showing you institutional inefficiency and very good low getting placed, replacing all the weak lows. Plus you are getting massive absorptions. My entry was in these regions because I've seen we are getting huge shorts getting trapped. You know, he was shorting into the low, so this was not even open interest decrease only. I will show you that short in other pictures. And we know in our group when we are getting huge relative volume spikes, yes, like over 500 million at least, close to 1 billion is even great. Almost 1 billion volume already, juicy relative volume spike. This is heavy negative delta. You trade, you take here, you don't want to trade it just as a scalp. After take profit one, you definitely want to keep it for the rest of the session because this is now strong low. So much volume was traded. Passive market participants fill their orders because again, crypto market is pretty small. You need these forced sellings to fill big traders, yeah, and then they will beat the market. On audio Orderflow, because I'm listening to Agra, I start to hit take profit limits. Here I was taking profit limits. I can show you in like here when we push like that. So Here was inefficiency, the forced selling. That was easy, very easy to feel. It was like minimum expectations to get out of such relative volume. And here I placed take profit one limits up to the daily up. Then we got the first pullback. I'm still in the trade, by the way. You see super choppy, like the whole world is selling off, but it's still holding. What was really great about that drop, we finished because market is hunting always for the maximum pain points. And these you can identify with open interest aggregation. Now we've seen huge longs over here getting long, and then into the impulse of the Tuesday, we've seen even much larger longs entering. You can see them exactly in Exocharts, but you can identify them with the open interest and delta. That's all you need pretty much. And now all these longs were holding, and we finally, like this last dip to the downside, finally clear last 10-15% of those longs who were still clinching into their orders. And when you like wipe out 100% of the local open interest, it tends to stabilize the market, because market has no longer reason to continue down. It's gonna mean reverse. It's gonna find equilibrium. Spot market is taking over, some leverage as well, and off you go. Because spot markets are, without leverage, we would have very boring Bitcoin market. Very, very boring. Now this is giving the blood, this is giving the volatility to the market. So delta round trip of open interest, very crucial additional confluence. When you are taking such long, you already see spot is buying heavily compared to previous activity. That's also what you want to see. This is keeping you in your trade. Perpetuals are also rebuying back, but spot is really crucial here. Compared to previous days, this is largest delta spike of the all day. Yeah? And technically, when you were clearing all the weak lows, you still had technical support at the end of the liquidity, which was the point of control of the 2 days from weekend consolidation, and it was like a box and val as well. But you can also see TPO was here just a bit higher, so very good confluence. And you see the push to the upside is mainly shorts closing. Yeah? So that's why you need to take some profit because in some occasions, in some order flow setups, you tend to give up and actually go back to the low. You can do that when the short squeeze ends and there is no spot bid. So you need to protect yourself with the take profit one. Same thing on, so this is Binance and Bybit. We watch both together. We don't watch BTC USD. This is traders watching that are still living in 2021. This is what you need to watch. Okay. So how was the trade developing? Very little posts. Not many posts actually. Like there was not much to post about the trade when it was happening. What was really good? So now I can show you that live. So you know, for the future reference, when we go to Orderflow, and what was that? This was the Bybit. Yes, the Bybit, because Bybit had much larger absorptions. BTC USD here. Okay, you see much larger absorptions happening here. So what was very crucial now when you are in long, so from such position and everything is going well, you don't want to lose this point of control and absorptions, because this is the main area. This is the main area where passive market participants were absorbing forced selling. If you start going below this, you will trap those people, yes, and you will potentially hit their stop loss when you take out the low. So they will be protecting more heavily this cluster. Ideally, when you get EPA reversals, these clusters are happening at the bottom of the week. But you see there was even front run. They were like definitely protecting. So for me, it was no problem. You can even add to your trade while this is holding. That's why you are putting a higher low. Sometimes we have lots of trap shorts in the week or in this region. So then you will turn them into order flow support. They want to escape. They are creating additional pressure on the market and you push out of them. Either way, this was really good setup. And market is still ranging, so hopefully when we get stability, we might actually push to the upside. We will see, but I will go over a live analysis at the end of the video. 49 minutes. Okay, we have a good counter. Ultimately, when you long the week, yes, or the pullback, what you want to do is to actually leave this range, and then we need to reclaim 109 400s, and then you will fill the close session in efficiency. Yeah, this is the least volume in the session, sooner or later this is going to be filled and it's gonna double or triple your profit when you run this area. I will be adding to this trade when we start pushing above these highs without swing failure pattern. So I'm ready to add and leave my position for the return of higher exposure to run this, because inefficiencies are enhancing your profits. Even when I open these session templates and zoom out, but we need to go to Binance 5-minute time frame. And that's what I was talking you, like Bitcoin past few days or even past few weeks is very good in running the inefficiencies. Yes, like here, this is Asia session inefficiency. We were those who were in short, they were counting on that this is going to be filled, and you see how it's accelerating your profits when it's happening. Same thing to the upside. Even here, Asia session that was filled during London and New York. Then we have heavy push to the upside. We are keeping, look how huge inefficiency. We are keeping low volumes. Yes, lots of single prints. And then when you got the news released on Tuesday, this was the highest velocity and steep decline on the whole push, and this is going to double or triple a profit when you are shorting from the highs with the walls with the news. And now same thing to the upside. Here we want to fill this, and we have even like low volume nodes here as well. But market is still very scared. Yeah, he's just waiting for the clarification with the reasons I was telling you. So first we are all focusing on trading range. Anyway, I think I went over all planned posts, and now let's start with the technical analysis, and then we move to order flow. And this is going to be it, my dear traders. Let's go. Brush going off. I also want to remind you the all-time high fractal. This is the position I'm still holding for myself as a major hedge. Still keeping 25% right now, because I was taking some profits, as of, I was explaining in other videos and in the group. In case Bitcoin loses the week, we already discussed what it's going to be very bad for the market, and we fell with swing value pattern. Then we will be aiming for this low. But what Bitcoin did when all-time high swing value pattern fractal played out in beginning of the January, we ultimately had 30% pullback. So in case that happens, you always need to be prepared for the worst. And you can see here, in case we get the 30%, this is going to be for the Bitcoin at 84,000. This is like worst scenario you can count if this is getting lost. And what if you can think, well, if we get truly the tariffs on China from US from November, of course this is going to be killing markets, and then I think we will get the 30% drop from the all-time highs on Bitcoin easily, very easily. So just be ready for the symmetry. Yeah? That's why I'm keeping this short. I'm either stopped out on this, or I'm keeping these until bear market or lower targets or whatever. But you need to have hedges as well in such a market. So that fractal is like that. What else? So let's go market structures. Not much happening here. Let's go to 2-hour time frame. For me, still very critical for Bitcoin to, to find stability in this box, because this area has been our support for many times. Massive resistance, then support. I want to see this again as a support. If I see rejecting from this area, not good for us. We are creating new range, which is okay. This is like at least something. When we fix the week highs, we still have market structure in this zone from previous top consolidation. So if you do something like that, you need to be ready for that. Yes, you need to be ready. And if you start pushing, then you have inefficiency here, then you will be very likely just filling. Yeah, so it's going to be crossroads for Bitcoin, definitely area of interest. And to the downside, how are the market structures looking? So you see we are already retesting the market structure, like naked one. We still have this one. These actually stopped market, moving down previously. So again, I will be watching it if we get swing failure pattern in the area. And if not, you can see we have more supports, but you will be watching them as it happens. How is the impulse liquidity looking? So yeah, this is already cleared. We can delete. I was just keeping it for some YouTube video, but I already went over that. If you want to see new all-time highs, you will know you want to move about 115,000. They'll be showing you that in TRDR, but from just impulse perspective, you want to reclaim 122. Then you will trap everyone shorting this big impulse, and then you will have massive liquidity here, which is gonna take you right for the all-time highs. So this is like area where I would be super careful to actually short there. You can do like massive move to the upside there. Local value areas, always useful to know, to see what is Bitcoin trying to do. Right now we need to add new range here. You can even have smaller ranges, but this is what we are trying to do. We used previous range as a support, but again, if this fails, you will go for this low. And for the weekend liquidity is here. So be careful. That's why bulls were trying to defend, because they know if they fail, we go for this another node here. Yeah, this weekend consolidation, we will grab very likely all of this. So that's from that. You will have more clarity from medium time frames. Ranges, let's go for 2-hour time frame. So if you want to see more upside on Bitcoin, I still want to see reclaim of the 3-month val and then 5x val, or both of them. There was a try. Here we were trying and failed. Here was another try. We spent a bit of time there, failed. What we need to do is just push and then create like larger expanded range and clearly make it into support and do this, and you open road for the much larger upside moves. That's what I want to see on those failures. And again, we were longing here on Friday, so you see I'm in like double long positions right now, long from this week but also long from here. I already had some take profit, so don't worry about it. And if we start losing the wicks, then I have the trade area here is mainly based on the previous like this is 3-month point of control is naked for a long time, and we can actually do something like this here. We can take out this high and go for the point of control and bounce. This is the next trade area you watch in case we get larger pullback. And on 4-hour time frame, the reasoning for the next trade area is again coming from AMT. This was the stabilization before larger pump to the upside. And here we have the double val zone, again untested. Yes, so another support, and then I have more. These are also areas where I plan to add on a spot market if I see this on order flow. High volume nodes, 1-hour time frame. This was the worst case scenario. We can hide this. If you want to see more upside on Bitcoin, it's that simple. Like you need to like leave the 6 weeks high volume node and build value elsewhere. Then you don't have much resistance from these high volume nodes, right? You can see this high volume node, the secondary one, is still providing support for Bitcoin just locally. And ultimately, when we were dropping into the week and feeling the weekend, because this happened over the weekend, remember? So here was new price action for CME and other institutions which are not trading the weekends. You can see we still used, this is the most fat high volume node from the previous range. We've used that high volume node to find stability and look for trades. This was additional confluence for us. Just want to explain. Anchor VWAPs, let's see how they are looking right now. 15-minute time frame. So even today we've got the rejection, not really good sign, because you know, even if I took the long here, this is not so good. When you took the short yesterday, many of our traders did, you definitely want to stay below this anchor because this is opening road to the downside. As soon as you reclaim, we open road for the backtest. I need to track, this purple UAB is tracking volume since the week. I want to see what is happening there as well. Again, reclaim of this area starts to open a new road to the upside. And look at the precision of the anchor VWAP from the all-time high. This was the strongest resistance. Even in my I think in my previous video I was mentioning you be careful with this area. This can be strong resistance. And look at the clean resistance. Yeah, clean rejection. So beautiful. If you want to see more upside for Bitcoin and return back to all-time highs, then you will need to reclaim this moving resistance. That's for local VWAPs. Medium time frame VWAPs, lots of chop as expected, because that's what they do. People are trying to build some positions. Yeah, pretty choppy here. We simply want to trade above 112k at least, so you alleviate the pressure from the spot market. Symmetry, we don't need to go over symmetry. This, I will remind you, still this pool which is predicting where Bitcoin will be ranging. So you see we are now trading the red box and trying to spend most of the time. This is your ultimate clarity. I was able to predict many ranging, like where will be Bitcoin spending most of the time. This is the strongest symmetry, and you can see we keep rejecting from 113k. So 113k is important not only from on-chain but also from this balance zone symmetry. And while we are just trading this box, yes, while it's happening, if you lose this box, you see what's going to happen. You will start going into the 100 to 88 and very likely create new range here, and then build some nice volumes. The price action here was very swift. That's why it doesn't offer as much support as compared to previous backtest. You can see when you are ranging for a long time, like here, this was range from May until July. So for a few weeks, yes, May, June, so it's like over 2 months range. Then the previous range, which is ranging on top of it, is using it as a very strong support. But here is less support because this was more of an impulse and very small consolidation. So actually market can run it more swiftly. This is future area where Bitcoin will be very likely ranging if you start losing 100k and fail with this swing failure pattern. So be aware of that. And the red box is giving clarity. How is the high time frame range looking? And don't forget about these high time frames when you are getting big moves. So you see Bitcoin still finding stability even on when you're filling the wick. Not only we are in this 2-month or 3-month high volume node, but also 7-month high volume node was helping stabilize the wick. That's why this reversal was so juicy, because all time frame traders from medium to high to local, everybody was looking to buy the DB in that high volume node. And again, if you lose this, it's not good. Yeah? From the high time frames, the next support is just waiting here on 96,000, 7-month point of control untested. Very likely we'll find again more stability here. I just don't expect like huge swoosh to the downside unless there is some crazy tariff news. It can be more controlled. Yeah. So if you lose the week, fail, swing failure pattern, very likely swing failure pattern here, some chop, push, or just go down on the news. But you know where you will be looking for next battles. It's that simple. And now let's have a look on Orderflow, which can be valid for today or for until Friday. So, by the way, I'm working now on Market Monkey templates and some tutorials as well, because I just want to replace Tradingdifferent, so don't worry, it's coming. Yes, and now let's have a look. So first you will be starting with, I already mapped the liquidity, so we know this is weekend liquidity to the upside and, to the downside, and we already cleared like very local shorts as well. The next fuel to the upside is going to be acceptance be above this 109 300s. We have very juicy liquidity node here right in the inefficiency, so you can expect market to run this very quickly. To the downside we are ready. How are the order books? Look at the order books. Since drop on Friday, we have much smaller order books on Binance in perpetuals. The walls are much smaller. If you run this high and then fill the inefficiency, you still have resistance region here. You might get another short continuation. It depends how we react. Here was really great. We filled, we trapped some nice longs into highs. If same thing happens here, I will be taking it. And of course, for my long in this here, I will be taking take profit too in this area, definitely. Spot market pretty empty. You can see that they are leaving us to trade this box where we have very limited spot orders. You can see strong sell side here and larger buy side here. People are ready to buy the dip. And we can now move to, let's see, on Exocharts. So Exocharts daily, how we are ending. Today is big battle for, like, market is, that's why it's lots of chop, like bulls and bears are fighting hard. We have weekly open here and daily open, so like reclaim of this zone leads to upside, rejection from this zone is changing bias for the downside. So we have plenty of battle, even weekly poggies right now here. Huge battle at 108k. We'll see how it ends. Everybody just closing positions. There's a lot of fear, lots of fear in the market. How are the equities doing? Okay, equities are bouncing at least. Okay. Bitcoin not reacting. Bitcoin just going sideways. Let's see how we are looking with TRDR. Yeah, look at this template, just insane, you know. Post-week drop, we were expecting a range and bounce stability, we got it. Again, double bands, really nice intraday bounce at least. Double bands, another bounce. Blue bands now, massive win rate, huge bounce, lots of money made. Pressure, you were looking for intraday short, you were looking for take profit on this long. Another more pressure, pressuring us down, feeling inefficiency. And now we, from the very strong double bands pressure, we are moving to the downside with no surprise, with the news, with the walls. And here Bitcoin now starts to consolidate again because we had the double bands just after the week, so it's good. But it's not as strong thresholds as we had here. They were much larger. They were like twice larger. So maybe in case we go for lower, there will be much better stabilization and push. So you get some support, but it's not like crazy strong. How is the... And you see, you don't get much advantage from perpetuals. They are pretty much neutral. Let me see how it's looking on 0 to 5. Yeah, also positive, but still not a crazy thresholds, not so strong thresholds as here. So from perpetuals, they are pretty neutral. And even spot is pretty neutral here. Yes, we don't have the best thresholds here. So in case market blitz lower is fine. Yeah, this was really great. This was heavily like leverage. You see leverage was heavily on sell side here. The spot was, pretty angry, but leverage was the main driving point. Same like here, leverage affecting. And again, just remember for the future, this level here, 100, I will zoom in. Where was the, the first level to reclaim for more upside is 117,000 and then 119, but 117 will be the most important because this was the biggest downside delta. And then you can really take 120k, and then any long you are building in this range is gonna become huge swing trade for you for beautiful move. You can see we are ranging, and that's what our expectations are, because these thresholds are just oscillating in between 2 billion to 1 billion. So yeah, just high velocity range. The push to the upside is is a bit larger compared to, push to the upside was so violent because you've had almost 2 billion sold into these markets. Liquidations, nothing special, but yesterday we had on Friday we had a really good liquidations as a confluence for our longs. Aggregated open interest continuing to bleeding down on the global uncertainty. Another threshold you can watch for round trip is going to be this point, and then the full build up from the week 262. Yes, not the strongest thresholds helping with intraday, but we have better thresholds below when we go a bit lower. Here you can see more visually, like market is ranging in this box. The spot is making boundaries, and you just move where is the least problems to move. Swing template was useful for us. Not rotational open interest RSI, not important right now. Where is leverage bidding? So I will keep an eye on these orders here. And also here you have demand on perpetuals, and to the upside we know we have the sell side right here. It's not visible because these are small walls, but again, that's what I'm keeping eye on, where I will have alert. And spot market is very obvious why we are sandwiched so much. This is the reason why we are sandwiching so much, because you have so much sell side on spot markets above with smaller walls, but it's creating larger cluster. And same way to the downside, we have decent orders. It's very spreaded, but again, yeah, this is aggregated, so you see lots of market participants together. That's why we are sandwiched. And here you also have very strong cluster. 120k will be protected. It's not counting it now, but yeah, here another cluster here, 115. Yeah, it's lots of sell side. This is what our whales doing since week. This is showing only the huge orders on perpetuals and spot. The whales are trying to build position from these regions. They're also keeping pressure on market. Look at here at the highs. It was huge pressure, moving us to the downside. So this is like from whales, this is area of interest you should be aware of. And again here, they are often like right, and you see they were filling some nice longs on the pullbacks like here. They were also trying to play the range here while it was existing like here, stability. Yeah, really good template. Makes things simple. Okay, so that's it from me. I think 70-minute video. Don't want to do like 2-hour video. It's just too much. So I went over everything, explained you. So yeah, lots of things will be cleared for Bitcoin at the end of the month. Then we will see how we do in November. Remember, from seasonality, we are entering from beginning of the November into strongest part of the year. The seasonality, this is the line. Here are my settings, by the way. His look back period is set on 15 years, and I use the trend. I just want to see the seasonality. You see how it was perfectly going well, even with the Trump tariffs. Since December, we tend to have pullbacks in first quarter of the year, so the Trump tariffs are just playing that around. And you see then large move to the upside was Bitcoin was leading. Yeah, this was a news event, but we were catching up to the seasonality, and right now we should still push to the upside. But again, we need to clear all the risks in the market, and especially tariffs, then we can resume move to the upside. Okay. So thank you, traders, for watching. I hope the video was useful. If yes, just give it a thumbs up, please. Subscribe and join our group if you want to trade and educate with me and other traders. Have a great rest of the week, traders. Bye.